All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Plum Bums Podcast. We are on episode 9, the blue-collar tradesman show that delves into running a business and being an entrepreneur in today's crazy times.
It's not impressive until we get to double digits.
As always, my co-host Max is with us today. Max, how you doing today?
Not bad.
How do you think the day went today? On a scale of 1 to 10, how did the plumbing day go?
There was a lot of fighting, right? There was a lot of fighting going on.
There was
we were doing work in the Paramus Park Mall.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to name drop that, right?
And people are walking back and forth, and we're literally throwing each other to the ground because
Why didn't you tighten this? Why didn't you do that? I'm going through the flapping door.
Listen, I think that job is going. It's
actually
fine.
Going well,
and it's because we're not.
Why we don't know how to handle it.
Yeah,
it's going well, so that's why we're arguing. We're like, this is not normal.
Because we have time to argue.
Yeah,
but no, that's going good. We got a couple more jobs coming up, which is good. We're getting to the end of the summer, which the end of the summer is just brutal for tradesmen and I guess service work in general. No one even is going to restaurants and stuff now. But we have a really, really cool show for you today. We're going to give you guys a lot of inside look from the angle of marketing your small business. We're here with my buddy Dan Enrico from DSM. It's a full marketing agency. They do social media. They work with the customer to get their name out there. Dan, how are we doing today?
Doing very well, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here, dude. I've known Dan for a long time, and there's always been like a healthy banter every time we talk. Like it's just like there's no time lost. But so your company DSM.
Yep.
What exactly do you guys do?
So it's a full service marketing agency. We're based in mostly Bergen County, but our team is a few people out in other areas of Jersey. But yeah, it's primarily digital, a lot of social media, website building, email, SMS, doing some, YouTube, Hulu, you name it, anything in the digital sphere, depending on the client.
So you guys can just completely take over everything as far as advertising, marketing, branding for the business.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what makes us unique is there are some agencies that they just do social ads, or some just do paid search, or some just do creative and like design. We have all of that under one roof. So that's why, so we're full service. Marketing gets really messy when you have different teams doing all of those different pieces. Right. It's all disjointed.
Gotcha.
And so my job specifically, I'm the VP of strategy. So I kind of look at what our client needs and say, okay, what tools from our toolbox can we pull out to help them achieve whatever their goal is?
So you're looking at analytics basically for the company. So Let's say I go to you and you're, let's just deal with your aspect of the company right now.
Yep.
So you're going to take a look, a customer will come in and say, this is what I'm doing right now. This is where I'm at. This is do you go through their numbers and stuff and see?
Yeah.
Okay. So that you basically, it's a whole inside out look, and then you figure out how to boost them.
Pretty much, yeah. So what often happens, this is where a lot of either business owners or marketing folks, they come in, they have a tactic in mind. And they'll say like, hey, I need to do radio ads for my whatever business. And that's usually a backwards way of thinking. So where I have to kind of walk them back and say, listen, before we start talking about what type of marketing we're going to do, what exactly do you expect to achieve? Because if a pharmacy calls us and says, hey, I want to get more foot traffic and I want to do radio ads to the New York DMA, I'll say, well, that's probably not going to be a successful tactic if your goal is foot traffic in your pharmacy, right? So let's go back and figure out what your goal is, and then let me put together the strategy of how you'll actually achieve that goal.
What's the percentage of people that come in and they're like, this is exactly what we're going to do?
What's the percentage of people where you crush their dreams, you crush their ideas, you stomp on them?
You know what always surprises me. So we do discovery calls, right? Whenever a business comes to us, I ask all those questions, right? I want to understand before we even put a contract in front of you, do we think that we can be successful based on your goals, based on what you've done before, based on your market, your competition? The first goal I always ask is, listen, in 3, 6, 12 months, what metrics of success are you going to look at to say, okay, DSM did a great job? What goals specifically are you looking to achieve so we can make sure we're defining success the same way? 9 times out of 10, even I'm talking large national brands and businesses, they don't have that number.
It sounds like a lot of them come in with no business plan.
Yeah, what a friend of mine calls it random acts of marketing is what a lot of folks have done. Right? They've all tried a little bit of this, we tried a little bit of that, but yeah, there's no cohesion to what
What's
they're
your
doing.
what's your average size? I guess I'm kind of hard to gauge, but like, I guess where they're in like the business range of how all consumer businesses go, like, are they kind of in the middle of the road, small business, medium large? Like, what's your average customer that's coming to you?
Average, I would say, is medium to large. We have a few
Okay.
small businesses because we really started like hardcore Bergen County, local businesses, mom and pops. And that was 16,
awesome.
yeah, and it was 16, 17 years ago, and that's still very important to us. But as we've grown, our capabilities have grown, our skill set has grown. So now we have a lot of national clients too, and
Yeah.
they're much larger budgets, just bigger organizations. So it really is it kind of spans the spectrum. And I would say too, we're industry agnostic, right? So we have some blue collar service, we have some pharma, we have insurance, we've got medical, and we got a lot of healthcare. And I think it's actually we're having a sales pitch yesterday. And the person said, well, you don't have a lot of experience in our industry. So can you just speak to that for a bit? And I said, I think it's actually a strength that we don't have a lot of experience in your industry because the folks that just work on your industry, it's rinse and repeat, it's
Yeah.
cookie cutter. You're going to look and sound like everybody else in your space. And I said, what people like about us is that we come with a totally fresh set of eyes. We color outside the lines. And so it's, you get a different look and feel from your marketing when you have somebody who's not knee deep or neck deep in your industry. So
yeah.
it's actually a strength for us.
That's a good point, actually. Because you really get into even when. So we're a small business. We see small business in our industry all the time down at the supply house, throughout the field, all the time. It is a cookie cutter repeat, especially if guys in our industry say, "I'm going to start marketing. I'm going to start branding." It's a cookie cutter, rinse and repeat. Take pictures of the job, say what you did, post
Change
it
up,
on
change
post it
up
on
your
Instagram.
work shirts, and you see how cookie cutter it is. We changed up our work shirts, and everybody was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! What's
yeah.
up with this stuff?"
What did
Yeah.
you change?
Well,
we changed our work shirts.
But what
So-
about it?
We did button downs, blue button downs.
we literally have long sleeve dress shirts with our logo on them.
yeah.
Okay.
And most guys are wearing T-shirts on them. Not that there's anything wrong with the T-shirts.
Yeah, yeah.
Not that
But
there's anything
we were
wrong
sitting
with
there
that,
talking. Yeah. But we were sitting there talking one day, and I was like, you know what? Because I was kind of like reminiscing about when my grandpa started, and I remember working with him when I was really young, and he always wore these light blue, long sleeve button down T-shirts, and would roll up the sleeves in the summer, roll them
Yep.
down in the winter.
You gonna take credit for my idea right now?
Well, all right. Well, the light blue was my grandfather, but yes, you did suggest button downs to start putting forth a better image. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
So needy. Anyway, but
Words of affirmation, Phil.
so we changed that up, and it was like it like disrupted the matrix almost.
Everyone in the
what-
supply house started talking to us like they started making fun of us or like, it's just a shirt change. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
what
what
jealous because we look better.
But what did the customers say? Or did the customers notice?
Customers tell Nancy all the time, they're like, "You guys come in and you look really good."
Yeah.
Clean.
Like clean,
Everything
Yeah.
looks clean. You
More
take off your
trustworthy.
shoes. You take
That's
off your
it.
shoes.
more
yep.
trustworthy.
That's it. And that is huge. I mean, for any business, but especially for a service-based business where your customer, right, for let's say a plumbing business, totally ignorant, right?
Yeah.
You could rip them off 6 ways to Sunday. They would have no idea, right?
Yeah.
Plumbers, mechanics.
We hear horror stories like that all the time.
Yeah. And so the fact that even just a nicely pressed shirt, clean white shirt, that does so much to establish trust. You guys look like you've got your act together. You're not, schlubs. You're
Yeah.
not, you guys look trustworthy. So I think that's an awesome idea.
My uncle always told me when I used to work at my father's dealership, he always told me, he goes, "You're not selling cars.
Yeah.
You're selling yourself.
Yep.
When
Yep.
you sell yourself, that's it. You have, and whatever you do, you're not selling that.
Mm-hmm.
Some products, yes, they sell itself. It sells itself, but
That's
You
a
have to
branch of marketing, though.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
uniforms, marketing. See, for me, marketing and branding goes hand in hand. Like it's almost synonymous with each other.
Yep.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So, let me ask you. I can only really come from a perspective of small business. We're not big at all. I don't mostly deal with the biggest businesses we have. Maybe would be like the
Ben Franklin.
Ben Franklin and Gold Medal, those guys who have TV commercials and stuff, and they'll
Yep.
come in and they'll get parts, but mostly it's local small guys.
Yep.
When it comes to branding and marketing, even though I'll tell you straight up, most of it's word of mouth, okay?
Yeah.
But how important is it to lock down a brand, stick to it, or does it matter if you're like fluid and in and out and like, just change, what's your opinion on sticking a brand no matter how small you are?
Yeah, I think I'm going to come from like the service-based side. For something like plumbing, it's probably difficult to sell something unless somebody needs it, right? Nobody hires a plumber for fun. There's a real need. So, marketing and branding and people seeing the brand, like, I don't know, Max, I've told Phil, but like, I run into him just driving around town twice a month at least. I see that truck and I'll like speed up and try to pull up next to him and be like, yo, Phil. But like the truck, the brand, right? So the reason it's so important, I think, for a business like yours is when that need does come up, they want to think, man, I see that Quartz truck all over New Milford, all over River Edge, all over Paramus. And then maybe they go to Google, right? And they'll search plumber near me, and Quartz comes up. And it's like, oh yeah, Quartz, of course. They're all over the place. They must be super busy. Everybody trusts them. So there's an element for sure where like
recognizability.
Or they see you like at ShopRite, wherever it might be, they keep seeing it and keep seeing it and keep seeing it. Yep. That creates a reputation in people's mind. Your trucks are clean. They're not banged up, right? That part of the branding, it's the long game. Yeah. It's not like you're going to get a phone call tomorrow because somebody just saw your truck. But if they keep seeing it and they keep seeing it and you just become like, this is the plumber of New Milford, River
Dude, it's so true. Like, what comes to mind? Big Jim's in New Milford.
Yeah.
Such a simple Big Jim's with a star.
Yep.
But it was everywhere. And he got like 4 or 5 trucks and put that logo on it.
Yep.
And listen, I've ordered from Big Jim's. He doesn't have the best pizza in town or around, but I still order from him.
Yeah.
It's decent. It's good pizza. It's not the best. It's nothing spectacular, but it's like when you talk to anyone around here, Big Jim's, Big Jim's.
Yep.
It's that punch in the face with that star logo, the same direction everywhere.
Well, people think we have more trucks than we do.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
They think
like
we're
it's only
huge.
you guys.
Yeah.
It's only you two. Like we thought you guys had like 5-6 trucks.
Yeah.
Because people see you guys all over the place.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, it's a testament to the fact that you're busy.
Well, my uncle always said that logo, he's had people tell him all the time, that logo really stands out.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and it's huge on the back of your truck. I could literally, if I'm on Midland Ave and you're half a mile in front of me, I'll be like, oh yeah, there's Phil.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's Max, but it's one of you guys.
So we're doing everything right then.
Yeah. The size of the logo is great. I can see it from a distance. But I think what goes with that, and this is a part of the brand that's not visual so much, right? Like, okay, I see the logo, that's great. But then there's the side of your brand, like, what do people believe about Quartz? What do they believe about Big Jim's? What do they believe about these brands that they see?
Like, what does the company have to back it up?
But yeah, what's your reputation?
Look on Google our reviews.
Exactly.
We have over 100 reviews. They're all 5-star except one lady that didn't even use us. Which every time I open Google, like I'll just scroll through it and like if I'm having
I know when he'll reread that one comment like once a week.
Yep.
And I know when he rereads it because he goes, "Can you believe this woman?"
And every time I bring it up, I act like I've never brought it up before.
Yeah.
Like, this is new
like,
information.
yes, dude. Like she's posted it a year ago. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah. Which I hate that you can't do anything about it, but yeah, it's like the reputation. So when people see that truck, they think like, what is, been around since 1961.
61, yeah.
It's family-owned business. Okay, that helps establish a little bit of trust. It's a small business. It's not the big guys, right? Sometimes the big guys, like maybe they're great, but they're just more out for money and they don't do as quality of a job because they have such volume, right? So behind the logo, the repetition is also the reputation. Like, what do people believe when they hear Quartz Plumbing, for instance?
Yeah. So what is your biggest frustration with your clients? And don't name any in particular, but when people come to you and you're trying to work with them.
Name them. I want to hear it.
What's the biggest frustration?
Let's see. Biggest frustration.
Like, what are they just not doing that you need them to do? Or is it a certain attitude that, like, you know what, you're not ready to delve into this big marketing campaign that you're trying to right now? You know what I mean?
No, I think maybe it's a frustration that is my own fault, potentially. There are times where I'll explain something, make a case for something, I'll show data to, quote unquote, prove something.
Yeah.
And I think I could not make a better case for why we should make this decision. And they still say no. Yeah. And so maybe it's that I didn't communicate it well enough, or maybe there's something else that I should have said that I didn't.
No, people are stubborn. That's
Could
for
be.
sure. People
Or
are,
sometimes they're nervous. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's like, hey, listen, all the numbers say we should increase budget on this campaign. And to me, it's like, well, listen, it's not my money, right? It's
Right.
their money. And so maybe it's that. Maybe it's not an entirely logical thing. It's an emotional thing.
Yeah.
So I guess I would say that's frustrating where I feel like
It's a big deal for a company to jump into something like that.
Yeah.
You know? But
Yep.
you make a good point. Even, listen, like we were talking about before we recorded, like, I was looking on Google to advertise on Google, and the first page was just too confusing. I'm like, forget it.
yeah.
You know? But you're saying that's an avenue that's worth it for small business. I mean, we do a lot of social media, which you guys do.
Yep.
You know what? I wanted to ask you, let's take social media specifically and what you guys do, and then versus what you advise every company should be doing on their own. Like, what would you do? What were you gonna say?
well, no, that's a good point because you do a lot of our social media.
I
on
do
your
everything.
own- yeah, well,
I
yeah,
do it all.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
waiting for you to start up your little apprentice page, but he won't
Not
do it because
gonna
he's so
happen.
anti-social media.
Yeah, but you can hit so many people with social media. You can get to so many people with social media, TikTok,
Yep.
all these different places. I mean, he got into ShopRite. I mean,
Yeah. What do you guys?
Not I'm saying like, what do you necessarily bring to the table? Obviously, you work with bigger companies, but it's just like, when does a company say I need a marketing company
Yeah.
versus I can just post this stuff on my own?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, what we always think about for our clients is we think of a customer journey, right? So, you have a plumbing issue. It's probably, even if it's like an emergency, you need to make a decision quickly, but you're going to do some research. You're going to look around. You're going to ask around, right? So, good marketing is like, how do you come alongside that potential customer while they're going through that journey? So, for something like plumbing, right? Or we have another service-based client that we work with who, it's one of those things like, if you don't need this done on your home, you don't need it done.
Right.
Right. So like they did some work on my house. They never need to advertise to me again because they can't sell me that product again.
Yeah.
It's done. So, for something like, let's say plumbing, social advertising could be good, but it's hard to determine if the people you're reaching actually need what you offer. Right, so you can say, I want to advertise to everybody in Bergen County.
Right.
Okay, but most of them probably don't need a plumber right now.
Yeah.
When you go to Google, it's a search engine, so there's a lot of intent. So people go to Google and they say, listen, I need, plumber near me, whatever, service near me type of thing. There's a lot of intent when people go to Google. On social media, they're just scrolling, looking for something that's interesting. So if a client has a sizable budget, I might recommend like, hey, let's do a little bit of social so that, when there's a need, people keep hearing your name, they keep seeing the trucks. And with like Meta, Facebook, and Instagram, right, you could just target River Edge, New Milford, Paramus,
Right.
Bergenfield, right? You can get really, really narrow. So where people are seeing their trucks, they're going to see you on social too. But if I had to say, like, listen, where do you want to put your budget most effectively? For something like, let's say, plumbing, I would probably lean towards like Google search, or, like they have local service ads, so they have regular search. I would lean towards something like that because the intent is there. Everybody you get in front of is looking for plumbers.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned that before, but the way you just put it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because we can post reels all day long.
Yeah.
We can post reels, we can pump out.
I follow other plumbers on social media too, but yeah, unless you like.
But you're not following out of necessity. You're following them 'cause,
Exactly,
like,
you follow them because
yeah.
I follow them because I know it and it looks familiar to me, and it's like
It almost seems like getting your name out there for the recognition, you almost have to do more and then target and then take like 35 or 40% of your marketing budget and putting it into people that need a plumber.
Yeah, maybe I'd probably put even more than that.
Really?
Yeah,
50-50?
more.
Really?
I would put a little bit into that brand. The other thing too is like there's ways you can set up your campaigns in Meta, and it depends. Like you have to tell Meta, what do you want this ad to do?
Just to be clear, Meta, you're referring to Facebook, Instagram.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to, when you set up these ads, you have to say like, okay, Facebook, Instagram, here's what I want this ad to do. I want to get video views. I want to get
Right.
people to fill out a form, right? And so depending what you want to achieve, that's going to impact your costs. So you can run what's called like a reach campaign, which just as affordably as possible, show to as many people as you can. And it might show up like in the side, and it might show up in like Facebook Marketplace. It's going to show up in all the random places
Right.
it can, because you said just reach as many people as possible. So it's not necessarily good visibility. It's not necessarily the right people. Or you could say, listen, I want people who are going to fill out a form. I want conversions, right? Or I want phone calls.
Okay.
That's going to be a lot more expensive,
Right.
Because it's a lot more action that you're asking the person
Yeah.
to do. But you'd rather have a phone call than just show up, right? So it's kind of the balance. So you could put, relatively affordably a little bit of money into just sort of like the brand awareness side. Same thing with like YouTube pre-roll, right? Like that's relatively very inexpensive. It's like cents for the view.
YouTube pre-roll?
Yeah. So like
What is
you're
that?
watching a
30-second
YouTube video.
clips?
What's that?
Are you talking about the 30-second clips?
Yeah, it could be 30, 15, could be
Yeah.
skippable, it could be non-skippable. But like what you guys could do, and this would be relatively affordable, like it's cents per view, not dollars.
Okay.
You could go and look for videos of like how to replace my P trap or S trap or how to, all these videos that people put up on YouTube about how to fix, like DIY fix your plumbing. You could run a video before that and say like, hey, we're serving Bergen
Yep.
County, we're available tomorrow, blah, blah, like whatever. Because those folks, you can target this way.
Yeah.
They're dealing with a plumbing issue. Because remember, YouTube, like Google, is a search engine. Right? People, they don't scroll randomly, they go and they search for something.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
could
so
be
huge.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
And we have a big YouTube channel. I got a ton of videos. I have several hundred videos. Half of them are reels, but I mean, to hit it like that, I always thought I was like, you know what? We don't need a marketer. We got this. I've read enough YouTube and watched enough YouTube videos.
I know what I'm
to do it.
doing.
Yeah.
But like, it's those little nuances where I can see how your brain is working. And it's not like you're undercutting the consumer, but like you're like 2 steps ahead of them.
You ever watch
to
Mad
understand.
Men?
No.
You ever watch Mad? No.
You tell me to watch it all the time. I still
Yeah,
haven't watched
it's a
it.
great show.
Yeah.
We're standing with Don Draper over here. We're sitting with
Dan Draper.
Don Draper. Yeah, Dan Draper.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. It's like I said, the customer journey. How can you come alongside your potential customer? Like they're going to YouTube because they want to see how can I fix my toilet, right? And maybe they're going to Facebook, and this is a tough nut to crack. But like these Facebook mom groups, and like I'm in a group called We Are Bergen County, whatever. And there's constantly
Yeah.
people asking for,
Yeah.
I need a plumber, I need a roofer, I need a this, I need a that. The tough part is if you don't get in on that post in the first hour, it's like 50 comments deep.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yep.
it's like worse than Google at that point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's,
Word of mouth. You're
Yeah.
saying kind of is. Well, that's what I get. What I think is still the number one
is the number
drawer
one.
of business for us is word of mouth.
Word of
'cause
mouth.
Everywhere
Yeah.
you go, I know my mother's on Facebook. What is it? Mom Facebooks.
Yeah.
It's all the
Facebook
moms
moms,
groups of each town.
All those moms groups, yeah.
Yep.
But she's always posting our name, and everybody's like, everybody that she knows. Oh, I saw you from Facebook Moms.
Yeah, we
group."
get a
I said,
lot of that too.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
because it goes the same reason why they like a nice, cleanly pressed shirt.
Yeah.
Trust, right? I want to hear, I think for some industries, there's less trust for like SEO, for Google search. It's like WebMD, or they said like WebMD is not going to tell you what the right condition is. It's going to tell you what condition has the best SEO.
Right.
My hands
Right.
are dry. I'm dying.
Exactly. And so like there's in some ways there's like a reduction of trust from like Google search, Google ads, right?
Yeah.
It's not as much. So people want to go and they want to ask like, hey, and they even say this too in the Facebook groups that I follow. They say, I need a recommendation for a plumber, someone you've worked with. Because it's not like, oh, my buddy Phil is a plumber,
Who'd
my
you-
buddy
Right.
Matt's,
who'd
right?
you
They want to like,
recommend? Who'd you
but have you hired them?
Have you
Did they
hired
do
them?
work for you? Because trust.
Yeah.
Right. They want trust. And so Google reviews are big for businesses like yours. Reviews are pretty much important for any business, really, because it's like that social proof. You want people to say like, hey, I have worked with them. They met or even exceeded my expectations. And that's what helps people make the decision to purchase.
Well, you had talked about before as well the phone aspect, people calling and not getting a response and doing
Speed
that.
to lead.
Speed to lead, is that what it's called?
Huge. Yeah. There was like a Harvard Business School study. I don't remember the numbers, but just Google it, you'll find it. It's the likelihood of like qualifying and closing a piece of business, if you get back to them within the hour,
Yeah.
is like exponentially higher.
Yeah.
And I imagine like for you guys, I know you guys are super responsive on the phones. And I'm sure people say like
Well, you've dealt with our phones.
they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're great.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. No, and I'm
We
not
put
just
that in
saying that
writing.
because I'm on the podcast.
We want a review right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, think
it-
about your customer's journey. If it is oftentimes an emergency, like you don't have to necessarily be the best plumber. You don't have to
You
be
just
the
have to be
cheapest
there.
plumber, right? If someone else gets to that job
Yeah.
faster,
Oh, yeah.
like I was doing a discovery call with a potential client and similar kind of like home service business, and one of the questions I always ask is, why do people say no to you? Right? You get in front of a customer, you put out a price, you talk about service. Why do they most often say no? And his answer was, because we didn't get there first.
Yeah.
Why do people say no to us? I want you to answer this.
My head, no, listen, my head, the reason why I've been chuckling on the side is because I know with my father, with his business and the way that it was with me and him, it would be 2 a.m. because my father doesn't sleep ever. And it would be 2 a.m. and he would get a cars for sale or a car guru lead and would come immediately to his phone, which was the worst thing I could have done for him, was to set it up directly to his phone, and he would smack me in the middle of the night. 2 o'clock in the morning, he'd be like, answer that lead right now. They want a car. And I'm like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. They're not looking for a car. They're just one of those people scrolling through, in the middle of the night. He's like, answer the lead now. Any time of day, anywhere I am, he's like, answer the lead. And he does it to my mom now because my mom handles that stuff.
Yep.
And he's like, answer the lead. It came in 30 seconds ago. I didn't even see it.
But you know what? Even if you wait from 2 a.m., let's say, you know what, I'll call them at 8 a.m., 9 a.m.
Yep.
Listen, at 8 a.m., I'm getting my kids ready for school. At 9 a.m., I'm at the bus stop. 9:30, I'm working. Like, I'm done thinking about that car.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, if you can capture the person when they're in that mindset, because we're all like mega busy.
Yeah.
And so when you're like, that lead is hot and they're like thinking about it, you're either thinking about it deeply right now, or you could not care less, and maybe you'll come back to it in a week or 2 weeks.
Yep.
But especially like a car, right? Like, you don't buy a car overnight. You're probably doing weeks and
Right.
weeks of research. So if somebody finally says, like, I would like to speak to somebody, get them now, right?
Yeah.
Because they could just drag this out.
Well, that's why they have those like auto chats now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those auto chats, you want to speak to an expert, and it's like, if you're like I look for cars every once in a while online too, even though I don't need one, but it's like immediately that bubble pops up. Who do you want? You want to talk to an expert?
Yep.
We're here to help you. That kind of stuff. So
that's another huge one for businesses, is understanding how your customer wants to communicate with you. Like, as a marketer, I love people to fill out forms, right? Because I get their name, their phone number, email address, and all that. And that's great. But for some businesses, people don't want to fill out a form. They don't want to fill out a form for a plumber and wonder, like, okay, when are they going to get back to me? It's like, I want to pick up the phone and I want to get an appointment scheduled now.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, on our website, we have a chat with a live person, and it goes to mine and Nancy's phone. And if I'm sitting in bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock about to go to, and someone chats, I'll hit it up.
That's
because it is huge, especially for this industry. Everyone wants to text.
Yeah.
I want to text. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to someone on the phone.
No, we have a client who is a like high-end men's clothing store, like super, super high-end suits, custom everything. And I was talking to them. I was like, oh, so, how do you communicate with your clients? What do you email them, whatever? And the guy was like, no, I just text them. And I was like, you're selling suits for thousands of dollars, very high
tell
touch.
us what it is. Is it Armani?
Yeah,
Can you give me a deal?
I'm going to tell you something. Our wealthiest customers will never talk on the phone, only text.
Interesting.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Think about it.
That blew me away. No, I was like, but you're selling many thousands of dollars of suits. He's like, no, they just want to text.
And I'll tell you why they want to text. There's a couple reasons. It's easier. They don't have to, they can get back to you on their own time. And also there's a record of the conversation.
Yeah.
You can also talk to somebody a little bit differently when you're texting. You can have, I don't want to say it's aggressive, but you can have a more authoritative type stance or tone when you're texting somebody, like, I want this, versus when you're talking to somebody or when you see somebody in person. It's a lot harder to do.
Yeah.
To be authoritative.
Yeah.
That's
a good point.
You're kind of put off. It's like the way that people talk to Nancy over the phone.
Because they never see her in person.
They never see her in person, so they kind of, I don't want to say they don't talk to her nicely, but they'll talk to her in a little bit different way, and she'll be like, listen, these people...
She gets we're a
little bit rude over the phone, and then we get there, and they're like the nicest people.
Yeah.
And it's not that she's
lying.
lying.
Who's going to mess with you guys? You guys show up at my doorstep, I'm not going to be rude.
Maybe me. I don't know about him. He's tiny.
I put on a few pounds, and not in the good way either.
So how long you been in this business?
In marketing, I guess 17 years, digital marketing.
So you went to college for it?
Not really, no. This is a great topic, college, and as it relates to probably both of our industries.
Yeah.
I went to college, I went to Fordham in the city, studied communications, and I had a minor in philosophy. So there was like broadcast communications, there was journalism, stuff like that. I did media culture theory. It's like the most broad, whatever,
Okay.
Media culture theory.
something like that.
I'm
yeah.
trying to put those together. I don't even.
What
I don't
is
know
that?
where those are meeting.
It's just like, how does media impact the culture broadly? It was at
Okay.
first I was like, you know what? I want to be in
He
radio.
just said the major all over again.
I was like, I want to be in high school. I thought I wanted to work in radio, and so I was like, oh, communications. They have a radio program, and then I was like, I don't even listen to the radio. Why do I want to work in radio? Right. So I just kind of did this very broad sort of concentration. Nothing I really did from my major is applicable to what I do today.
Never.
Okay.
It never is.
No, but what's
It's crazy.
interesting is my minor was philosophy. And that was probably, as far as my career, one of the most beneficial things I did, because we would have to, dissect arguments and philosophical statements and write papers. And I remember I would write papers and the professor would, red pen, like, this sentence means nothing. You're not making a point here. And they would just be brutal. But I'm so thankful for it because of that, I've become a much better writer, a better communicator, because it's like, listen, cut out the fluff, figure out what point you're trying to make and communicate it clearly. And that's like a huge skill for marketing, is being able to communicate a point clearly and effectively. So I would say my minor was actually very, very helpful. The major, not so much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a common story. That is a common story.
Yeah.
I didn't graduate, but you went to college. You wanted to be an English teacher, and now you're a plumber. I wanted
History
to
teacher.
be a teacher, and now I'm a plumber.
Yeah.
But with kids going into college, and there's a lot of like reels of podcasts that I scroll through. Like, these kids, they're 17, 18. They have to pick what they want to do for the rest of their lives. What entails? Let's say you're talking to a kid coming up into marketing. Appeal to their interests or something to try to get them into that field.
Yeah.
Because I know how I would do it for our field, but how would you get it? Marketing. It's just, you hear that word all the time.
Yeah.
What is with, like, how are you going to get a kid to?
I mean, I just want to make this point before you get into it. I always think it's such a nonsensical type degree to get. It's like getting a business degree. When I ever hear, like, I used to hear my friends say, I'm going into marketing. I'm like, if you're good at marketing, you're good at marketing. I don't think you can learn that in school. It's not a thing that you learn. Obviously, there are aspects that you have to learn that most people won't know, but it's like, if you have good ideas
Yeah.
to push somebody's business ideas, then you're going to be good at it. It's not something that you can just grab along the way, right?
Yeah, it's a mix. There's like hard skills and soft skills, right? So there are things like when I was in college and even starting in marketing, like TikTok didn't exist.
Yeah.
Instagram didn't exist. When I first started my second job out of college, Facebook pages just became a thing.
What year did you graduate?
College, high school 2003, college 2007.
Oh, you're 4 years younger than me.
I guess so.
I thought you were closer.
You guys
Anyway.
are old. What?
Whatever.
Either you feel young or I look old.
I don't feel young. I'll tell you that much. I don't look young either.
Yeah, so I guess one thing I would say to, a young person who's considering it is, yes, marketing is definitely a very broad topic. Could mean 1,000 things. And I work with a lot of marketers all the time. And some of them are like super smart, sophisticated, and they're really deep in, the weeds of things. And others are like generalists who have some base knowledge, but they're just not like super, super proficient. So there's like a whole spectrum. But yeah, things like, TikTok, college isn't going to train you for that. It's brand new.
Right.
I never would have learned that. I think what I would say to a young person is, if you like that, if you like an industry that's always changing and updating and you constantly need to pivot, then yeah, like marketing could be great. If you need just sort of like steady, consistent, like you don't want to be all over the place, maybe it's like accounting or numbers, right? Like that doesn't change much. So if you're into that, yeah, that could be great. I think a lot of people think social media is like, or marketing is like, oh, I'm just going to run a Facebook page. And it's like, that's why I say, like, for DSM, we're not like a social media agency, we're marketing.
Right.
And it's how do you talk about yourselves across all of these tools? And there's going to be tools in 5 years that don't exist now.
Yeah.
And there are tools 5 years ago that we don't use anymore. And so there's always, it's just constantly changing. And if you like that, then yeah, marketing could be for you.
Well, the only question that I have for you on that topic is, do you need university? Do you need college to get to where like you are?
Yeah, I would say no. I look at a lot of resumes for people on my team to join as like marketing managers or marketing associates. I glance at where they went to college, but I don't.
Okay. It's not a focus.
If they didn't go to college, it would not be a deal breaker. I'll say it like that. What I look for in a resume for somebody to potentially join our team is I want to see a resume that spells out some results.
Yeah.
Right. So for instance, I don't want to just be like, oh, I managed a social media calendar. Okay, well, it doesn't mean it was any good.
Right.
A million people do that. I want to hire the person that did it the best.
Yeah.
So I want to see something like I increased social media engagement by 25% in 3 months, or I managed, 50 posts a month across 3 platforms. Like, okay, wow, that's a significant workload. Wow, that was really effective. I want to at least get on the phone with you and figure out what you did to increase engagement by 25% in 3 months because I want that result. So those are the kind of things I would look for. And then there's a lot of like trainings and certifications that I do, that I have my team do, that are just much more relevant to like current marketing practices.
Yeah.
And so if I get a resume, there's no college listed, but they've done a bunch of these certifications, they're learning from the people that I learned from.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you're in the right vein. Maybe you don't have the exact skill set, but I like that you're learning today. Not just that you learned 5 years ago.
We talked about that on a couple shows ago about don't go to college right away. Mess around, intern somewhere.
Yeah, I always say my
Get a
father
couple
always told me,
jobs.
go to work.
Yeah, go to work and see what you like.
Go
and
to
then-
work and you find out what you like and what you don't like, and what you're good at and what you're not good at, and you'll find that in a couple years. And if you want to go to college later on, and obviously not super late, but mid 20s,
Yep.
you can start. You can go to college again, and it's not too late. People think, oh, it's too late, but it's not, because you're learning all those years that you're working. One, you're making money. You're not going into debt, but you're learning what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah. And I think in that period, so a couple of things, these are like soft skills, right? It's not about like learning the TikTok ad platform.
Yeah.
That's great. Like you could, if you're not a dunce, you could learn that.
A lot of dunces have learned it because you watch them on TikTok.
Right.
It's
Making
like-
millions, making
Very true.
millions.
But what I'd say, like, there's soft skills that I would say anybody, 17, 18, thinking about college, whatever, is building your network. Like, so much of life, professional success in whatever industry is who you know.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a plumber who gets a lot of referrals, or if it's like, hey, I'm coming out of college, like, right, fraternities, right?
Yeah.
What's the point of a fraternity really long term? It's who you know.
Yeah.
Right. So be good at building relationships. That will take you very far. I have a guy he's based in Bergen County, this guy Jim, who does this for folks that are coming right out of college who just need like some career coaching. Like, okay, what do I do with my resume? What do I do? Just he coaches them on what they need to do, but he'll also say, hey, Dan, I got somebody who's interested in marketing. Could you sit with them and talk for a bit? And I'm always like, absolutely happy to, because when you're 19, 20, 21, not sure what you want to do. You don't really know what the industry is like. You don't know anybody in the industry. So I'm happy to sit down and be like, yeah, let's talk about your skills, what you like, what you don't. I'll tell you what I know. So that guy's doing an amazing job, but it's exactly that. It's like figuring out what do you like, what do you not.
Yep.
So I think like building relationships is huge, like building your network. That'll go very far for you. And the second is just having the right attitude. Like I've met people who are very talented in what they do, but have a crap attitude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to work with people who have a bad attitude. And I can pick it up in interviews. I can pick it up
Of course.
talking with people. And so have a great attitude where, you're humble, you're willing to learn. That to me is the biggest thing. Is like someone who's hungry to learn. Like I will throw you content and material all day and you'll learn it and you'll superpower up. But if people are like, well, I don't know how to do that. And I'm like, well,
Or
learn.
I already know that.
Right.
That kind of stuff where you're like, I know that.
We
I
get
know that. I do that.
When
Yeah.
There are plumbers that are
I've
out there
tried
that
to
are
hire.
amazing. There are
Mhm.
I had
plumbers
one
that are out there
guy-
that are amazing that don't, they can't,
they have no bedside manner.
they
Yeah.
can't get over their egos.
Well, even when remember we were working at that one house and the guy came up because he wanted to ask us about if we were hiring, and every time
Oh,
I asked
yeah.
this guy a question, he would completely turn away from me and not face me to answer. It was just really weird, and it
Maybe
rubbed me
he-
the wrong way. He's
Maybe
like,
he had bad breath.
well, he was far enough away that I wouldn't smell it, unless it was that bad. But it was that first impression, which is kind of what I think you're talking about here. Is
Yeah.
first impressions, like, and it's, I get nervous because you meet some really good kids today, but you meet a lot of kids who have literally no social skills, and they have all this social tools at their fingertips.
Yeah.
And how do you take them and put them out into the field and have them make money
You
for
have a lot
you?
of kids that can't even look people in the eye anymore.
Yeah.
You have that. I know
Yeah.
you have kids, but there are a lot of like of the younger generation. I noticed like with my niece and her friends and stuff like that. Some kids, and you talk to them, you ask them questions, and when they answer back, they're not looking at you in the eye,
Mm-hmm.
And they're mumbling.
and they're mumbling.
Yeah.
And it's like
It's like,
you
I'm
gotta
not scolding
develop-
you. I'm just asking you
just
about
have
your
to
day.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
another part of like for my job. If I'm bringing somebody in, most of the people on my team are client facing. So like, I don't need you to do all the talking, but if a client asks you a question about something you're working on, I need you to be able to like speak
Yeah.
clearly and concisely in a way they understand.
Yeah.
And like some of our clients, they're like super smart marketers, and others are like business owners that are not in the marketing.
Yeah.
And so every client you talk to, you have to be able to communicate at a level that they understand. And so that's a skill. Like just basic communication is one of those soft skills that
can't go to school for.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
always selling yourself. That's
Yep.
it. No
That's-
matter what industry you're in, you're always selling yourself.
Yeah.
Dude, you have this is a lot of good meat here, a lot of good advice. I appreciate, and there's so many things I didn't even think about. What I want to do right now is I want to take a little break. We're going to
Okay.
take a little breather, and we'll come back and we'll BS. And like I said, I've known Dan for a long time. We've been in and out of each other's lives for a long time. But so we'll get into it in a little bit. But thanks, guys, and stay tuned.
Cool, but
Mm,
like I didn't want a rifle at the time. I don't need so many of them, you know. Like,
yeah.
I do.
You can only shoot
No.
3 at a time, right?
It's like books. Even though if I don't use them.
Just
I
put them
can't-
on the wall.
I came home with that because it was a shotgun. I came home with that shotgun, and my dad was just like, my dad was in the military. And he was just like, another one.
Another one.
I don't. Like, yeah, well, you don't like it. It looks awesome. It sounds awesome. It looks awesome. Yeah. You don't even have to shoot it. You just make that sound, and the guy's running away. He's like, all right, just give it to me.
All right, boys, we ready? You guys are ready?
Yep.
Yeah, get it out. Hack it up.
I'm ready.
All right. We're back.
With Don Draper?
Back with Don Draper. Is that a show that I should see? Matt, is it like worth the
It was
series?
a great show. It was a great show.
I guess I'll get into it. Isn't it what?
You're not going to watch it. That's
Well,
fine.
'cause it's
He's
always
not
on.
gonna- You
I-
watch the show, right?
I have not. I've seen clips. I've seen a lot of clips, but I mean, I live it. So
John Hamm.
I don't want to come home from living Mad Men just to watch Mad Men.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It's like, would you guys watch?
I come home and watch plumbing
I
videos
was
on
gonna say,
YouTube.
would you watch plumbing shows?
I live a very sad life. Very sad life.
I know it is when you get older. But
Ooh, let me watch this guy change out this ankle stop. What kind of tool is that? I'm just like, ugh, you're gross.
you know what it is when you just. How interesting can plumbing be? We do it day in and out. We
It
keep
changes
coming
all the
back.
time.
Well, it does, yeah.
there's
guess
always
you're
new
right.
stuff. There's new tools that come out all the time, which I'm always interested in.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not going to buy it because I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use the same pair of channel locks that I always use. I'm going to use the same pipe wrench that I always use. But they come out with like these new like snaking tools and this new drain clearing equipment and
Yeah, and they
you
have
know,
the flyers. I
all
mean,
this
it's-
kind of cool stuff. Now you can save a pipe, like a clay pipe,
Mhm.
by just running like a liner through it now. Like a
Wow.
cast iron or clay pipe by just running, like pushing a liner through
Yeah.
it with this special machine. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I want that. But
It's
like,
really cool.
What's
It's
this?
amazing.
I feel like I've seen videos of a tool. Is it called like a shark bite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shark Bite's been around forever, though.
Yeah. Okay. Phil looks disappointed.
I mean, because
They're the worst. That's why.
Here's the thing with shark bites and these
Sponsor us,
easy fit like plumbing things that are at Home Depot, and it's like
Yeah.
the homeowner is advertising, oh, you can do your own thing. They do it, and then but they end up screwing themselves in the long run. Like shark bites, they're supposed to last, and but I would never put them behind a wall. But customers put them behind walls all the time.
Yeah.
But it's funny because when Home Depot first came out, my uncle talks about this, like the industry was getting worried that, the homeowner's just going to be able to fix everything. It's actually been better for us because they screw up everything.
Yeah.
You'll
Just
watch
increases the frustration.
Yeah.
It's like with newer houses, though. Every newer house that we're on, every newer building that we're on is always put up
A nightmare.
worse.
Yeah.
Worse than the older houses. The older
Mangled.
houses lasted 100 years.
Yeah.
Only now are they starting to deteriorate a little bit, because they're 100 years old. But why am I in a house that's only 5 years old
Yeah.
fixing the plumbing?
So what are, I'm curious, and this is my area of ignorance. I see all these like $1.5, $2 million houses going up all over Bergen County. And they're beautiful outside, but I have to imagine they're taking as many shortcuts as they can with the material. So like, what are the plumbing issues? Because I don't know anything about it, but like, what are the issues you guys see with these like huge mega mansions that are going up?
Do you want to answer that? Because I got a couple ideas.
Yeah, I want to hear yours.
Everyone uses PEX now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is
Okay,
that?
PEX, this flexible water piping to
Okay.
feed houses. They don't use copper. We barely use PEX. I still always use copper.
They even color code it for you.
They color coded. You have red and
They
you have
do.
red and blue for hot and cold.
Okay.
But here's the thing with these big construction companies: there's one guy that has a plumbing license, and he just sends a bunch of dudes out and says, "Because PEX is monkey work." But you know what we find all the time? Crimps are not crimped all the way, and after 5 to 10 years, they start to leak or explode.
You have
They
to
use the
cut
wrong-
up people's houses.
Oh, yeah.
Like in the worst ways, because you can just swoop pecs. You could just run it however you want and just like fish it through an area that's it's you don't really fish copper pipe through all the
Right.
time, and it's just those are the
It's
parts
a
that
mess.
explode.
It's
a
tangled up, like you're hitting wires. Like it's just shoddy installation is what we find.
And a homeowner will never know.
They'll never know because
Until there's a problem.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. We have tons of. They've been in the house less than a year. Kitchen's falling apart. Bathroom's falling apart. Trap is leaking. The trip waste on the tub is leaking. They have to open up this nice molding downstairs above their cabinets because it's leaking within a year. And these contractors are gone.
Yeah.
They're not covering anything.
They're on to the next
They're on to
tear
the next
down,
one.
and
That's
yeah.
it. And they're going, and they look beautiful from the outside. That's the thing. And-
inside too. They look beautiful.
Yeah,
They look
great
Well, I mean,
finishes.
inside,
Yeah.
outside.
yeah.
By outside, I mean like the outside of the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the problem at plumbing and electrical is where they have most of their problems. And these big contracting companies will try to skimp out on the labor on that and maximize their profits because copper is expensive. Like when we're putting in a copper like repair and just repairing some water piping, you use 3 to 4 fittings and 10 feet of copper pipe. You're like $100, $115 in material by then. If you use PEX, you're a lot cheaper, but I don't like using PEX. It looks like crap. The flow rate's smaller because PEX is really, really thick outside diameter.
Okay.
So you're losing flow rate. Copper's antibacterial metal. It's been used for a long time. But these contractors, what they're trying to do when it comes to plumbing and electrical, because that's your two most important expensive industries, they're cheaping out the most.
And these aren't things though that an inspector
No.
would catch.
Nope.
They don't have to, do they have to inspect it, or is
You
just,
actually, for inspection, they don't inspect water lines, water supply lines. That's not part of the inspection.
dude?
You just have to make sure the water's on and there's no visible leaks. They're inspecting the PVC,
Okay.
but they'll back and forth. But inspectors miss stuff all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And a lot of new inspectors are coming up that don't know anything. They don't know the code book. They're just like a 26-year-old kid with a little bit of authority.
Yeah, well, PEX is
Which is
what are you
the
trying to
worst
say? What are you
kind.
trying to say? What are you trying to say?
You're not 26 anymore. Nice try. You're knocking on the door of 30, pal.
PEX is up the code though. That's the problem.
It is code. There's a lot of things that are code, but they're just not going to work out
So it's not
long
good,
term.
yeah.
Shark bites are code. You can shark bite a whole house.
Remember when I pulled apart that guy's the back of his shower, one of our customers' shower, and it was from the shower handle to the shower head. There was 8 8 shark bite fittings.
Oh, yeah.
All the way up. I was like, how many times did you have to mess up with shark bite fittings
gosh.
for there to be 8 fittings?
was a
And
nightmare.
he was a big dude, so he would like, it was a handheld that he would pull off of the top of the shower head. And anytime he would pull the handheld off of the top of the shower head,
Everything's wiggling behind the
moves
wall.
Behind the wall. He's like, listen, I don't like this anymore. This is bothering me.
What we get a lot of times too is hacks, and
Yeah.
not just new construction, but renovations and remodels. They'll
Yep.
just get hacks, and what these companies do, they'll screw up a whole bunch of houses, but make their money, file for bankruptcy, and open up under another name
Ugh.
and just bang it out. And that's a huge problem around here.
Yeah.
Huge.
There's a lot of people who are jack of all trades, but master of none.
Yeah.
So, why did you get into marketing? We touched on that back a little bit, maybe before the break, but like,
Yeah.
is it the creativity aspect? Because I know you're kind of a musician.
Yeah. I dabble in a little jazz flute.
What? Nice reference.
I don't know why. Gosh, why did I get into marketing?
Was that Anchorman?
Yeah.
Did you get into marketing
Okay.
because you had 2 kids and you got to support them somehow?
I got into marketing way before I had kids. I don't know. I get like my first job was at is an IT publishing company. So it wasn't like sexy marketing stuff. It was, like lead gen for like webinars and white papers. And
Yeah.
so it wasn't like, the most exciting type of marketing you could do. I did a couple internships in PR
Okay.
before I graduated, which was okay. I didn't quite love that. So I think honestly, I just came out and I took the job that I could get because it wasn't, I don't know, it was 2007, I guess. And just, okay. I was driving up to New Rochelle every day. So I was driving like an hour to work as a 21, 22-year-old. So not the ideal scenario, but that's where I was. And I remember thinking like, okay, I love this digital stuff. I love, doing emails and websites and all the stuff we were doing. But I was like, I wish I could do this for like a cause, like something, I can really feel passionate about. And then I got a job doing that at a medium-sized nonprofit in the city for several years. So that was cool. And my dad was like, listen, you're going to, maybe one day when you're much more experienced, you'll get that job.
Yeah.
I got laid off between those 2 jobs. I was laid off for like 6 months. Thankfully, I was still living at home. And so it wasn't, I didn't have kids or a wife or a family to support. But then, I got, into that in like the nonprofit space, which was really cool. And then, eventually now to DSM. But I think, like you said before, like the creativity side is
Yeah.
part of it. I just love going from idea to idea, kind of bouncing it around. And
To be honest, dude, I do all our social media, all our marketing, our website and stuff. If I wasn't, I would probably get into marketing.
yeah,
Because of the creativity aspect.
I can tell just like I see your videos, you're doing a podcast. Like I think you have a little bit of a mind for it.
Thank
And
you.
if you did it,
Don't puff his ego
Don't compliment me.
anymore. Oh my God.
but
You don't understand. He's riding off of that now for the next like 2 weeks. And he's going to say,
A marketer said I'm good at marketing.
Dan said I'm good at this. So
When you make fun of a video that I post.
yeah. No,
gonna
he
rub it
doesn't
in your
like,
face.
he doesn't like that I'm brutally honest. I will say when a video is good. I
You're
will say
brutally delusional sometimes. Let's be honest. Look, you want to be brutally honest? You're brutally warped in the head.
he,
Your perception of things is
he doesn't like if he doesn't respond well to criticism. I will be honest with him. I will tell him when things are good and when they're not good. And
okay.
has anyone ever told you guys sound like an old married couple?
yeah.
Yeah, all the time. Well, let's just touch base on this.
All right. Here we go.
What I
You
can't handle,
strapped in?
what I
adults
can't,
are
what I can't handle in criticism, you can't either.
You're right.
Okay, as long as we're on
I just
the
handled
same
that criticism
page.
pretty well. All
I was
right.
gonna say
That's 'cause
this is
there's a
very
mi-
meta right
That's
now.
because there's a microphone in front of your face.
No, I know I can't handle stuff well.
You know why? We've worked together for 5-6 years now. Closely, have been in the depths of hell, and it just get to a point where you do become an old married couple.
Yeah.
Old married couples don't have
I hate
sex
the
either.
way
So,
I hate the way he eats his lunch.
I'll be eating there. I'll be eating
Could you
soup.
chew less
Dude,
loud?
100%. It's so funny. It's so funny that you say that. I'll just see him looking out the corner of his eye, like as I'm eating like spaghetti or something. He's like, I hate how you eat spaghetti so much.
Have you seen that John and 8 or John and K plus 8 clip where they're talking, they're doing an interview on the couch, and she's like, "Honey, can you stop breathing like
Yes,
that?"
yes.
I'm like, "Wow."
Yeah. Yeah.
It gets to that point.
How he didn't clock her there. I was like, I don't know.
so
Can you stop breathing like that? It was like, he didn't even make a sound, which is what the crazy part was. But she, whatever it was with her, she just set,
Yeah.
it set her off.
Wow, what a reference, John and Kate plus 8. Didn't he go to like prison for something? Like wife beating or
Maybe, I don't
wasn't
know.
there a huge scandal around those people?
Definitely. I feel like anybody that makes it anywhere in reality TV is bound for scandal at some point.
She made the Karen haircut popular. I know
Oh,
that.
yeah. Trendsetter.
Ugh. Now, God forbid you have that haircut.
It's iconic.
So, how long have we known each other? Would you say 15? So, to be honest, like we've been in and out of each other's lives.
Yeah.
We've had this like a similar group circle of friends.
Yeah, we had like concentric
Yeah.
or non-concentric overlapping circles, social circles.
But I bonded with you very quickly when
Yeah.
we were talking, and
Yep.
and I remember when you met your wife,
Yep.
and then as she's just button cute. You are you going to come to church on Sunday? You come to church on Sunday?
Sure.
Because you have to meet my button cute wife.
Yeah, adorable, perfect.
Yep.
And would
She's
you?
great.
And she kind of whip you into shape? Would you say, as a person?
Yeah. Definitely did. Marriage is, it's a compromise, so you each have to kind of shift for each other, and so yeah, definitely we've been married
Shit
almost.
for no one.
Says the single guy. They always say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Been married 12 years, and we've grown a lot, been through a lot together. We met when she was 17, I was 20. So now we've been together most of her life,
Yeah.
which is crazy to
Wow.
think about. Yeah. So we've been, I guess, at least dating or married for 18 years, married for almost 12.
No, I mean, I didn't know you in high school, but I heard stories how you were a ball buster, smart ass, and
Yep.
But it was funny. How long would you say? Because I remember we talked about like you had become a Christian later in life,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and I think we actually bonded over that conversation.
Yeah.
But you said something interesting before that, like you were very witty and come back, and like you always had something snarky to say, and like you were like a verbal bully.
Yep.
But it transferred well into probably your profession now,
Yep.
and like being able to like debate and argue and stuff like that, which
Yeah.
I found very interesting.
It is. Yeah. I didn't realize it until probably like my early 20s, maybe in college. I would, in high school, middle school, even elementary school, I would say anything just to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And so if somebody had to be the butt of the joke, I would shred somebody
Yeah.
just because everybody else in the room would laugh. And so I'm not big. I'm not like a physically intimidating bully, but I was a verbal bully. And so, yeah, I'd be like quick witted. And I didn't care the impact of my words on whoever I was ripping
Yeah.
at the time. But I remember one of my best friends when we were in college, he was like, hey, he just, stopped me point blank and was like, stop doing that. Like, why am I always the butt of your joke? Like, that is hurtful. And that was the first time anybody had really said that to me. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, come on, I'm just joking around. He's like, no, like, this isn't funny. And it just took that. And I really started reflecting like, oh my gosh, like people don't like when I do this.
Yeah.
And then Naomi even said the same thing. She was like, hey, sometimes you make me the butt of your joke and I don't like that. And I was like, oh, I'm just joking around. It's just with friends. And she's like, yeah, but if you cared about me as, a husband or fiance or whatever it was at the time, she's like, if you cared about me the way you say you do, you wouldn't joke about me like that if you know that it hurts my feelings.
I'm kind of guilty of the same thing. I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I would do anything for a laugh, and if someone was the butt, I would plow in.
Yeah.
And I
I'm still in
remember,
that phase. I can't. I don't care about people's feelings.
Yeah.
I remember this one kid in junior high that like he was just an easy target.
Yeah.
And very, but I would say, I said before, God works things for all things for His good. Like he'll take something that is your downfall and your personality trait that's terrible, and he'll make it for His benefit.
Yeah.
And we watch a lot of debate videos and stuff like that. Like, it's a talent that comes to be quick-witted, and you know what it comes in handy is speaking to customers and selling yourself and doing
Yeah.
this thing 100%.
Yep. Being able to answer questions on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like you to compliment my salesmanship right now, if you don't mind.
It's not gonna happen.
I remember there was a kid, middle school, that was easy target we'd pick on all the time. And I became an adult and I realized, like, wow, that was really not cool. I looked him up on Facebook. I reached out and I was like, hey man, I was just thinking about middle school, and I was, I think in my 20s at the time. I was like thinking about middle school, and I realized like I was totally a jerk to you, and I said a lot of mean things, and I'm just wanting to let you know I'm really sorry about that. That wasn't cool.
Wow.
Yeah. And I kind of expected, I was like, oh, he's going to respond. We're going to bury the hatchet. It's going to be great. He didn't respond.
Nothing.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what?
Doesn't matter.
That's fair.
Yeah.
As long as you got it off your chest, kind of a thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even like for my benefit. I mean, he could just say like, screw you, dude. I really don't care. I don't know. But
You think
there was
that,
definitely,
do you think that happens with age too? You think it just happens with age? Because like I know I take my father as like that has that gauge.
Mhm.
He knows what I'm about to say too. Is because my father he's a very rough, foreign man, and like me and all my family, we talk to each other. It doesn't things that people say don't phase us. Like when my parents or my brother or sisters, when we talk to each other, it's just brutally honest. And if you're an outsider and you're looking at it, you're just like, wow, these people are constantly like insulting each other.
yeah.
But it's not that way. It's just the people like that's
It
the
is
way
kind of that way.
It is, but that's just the way we talk. But like my father was, first of all, the way he grew up was not great. But for many years, he could watch somebody get stabbed in front of him and not like bat an eye.
Yeah.
Now he cries at Surf's Up, the Penguin movie. It's like he's gotten so, and like he was in the military.
Yeah.
I know he's done things.
Yeah.
Because he was in special forces, and he's done things and seen things. And like I said, now he's crying at Penguin movies, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I think that just you got, not that you get softer with age, but do you get more emotional with age? Is that what happens?
Maybe you become a little more self-aware.
Yeah.
A little more mature, a little more, what's the word?
Tell Max what he should expect in the next 10 to 15 years.
Hopefully.
I'm digging my heels in.
Yeah.
Deep.
Well, you know what I want to know?
Yeah.
How, when your kids were born,
Mm-hmm.
the transformation. I don't have kids. Max doesn't have kids.
I cried for sure.
Yeah. Talk about the children.
Yeah. No, they're 9 and 6 now, which is crazy.
9?
9.
Holy cow!
I'm
dude.
telling you, people say like what do they say? The days are long, but the years are short.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have so many dads in their 50s, 60s, 70s that tell me, cherish those times. And I really do take that to heart, because like my wife and I were just talking this week. We're like, why is our 9-year-old, she's up to my shoulder? And I'm like, Olivia, I remember holding you on my chest and like putting you to sleep. And she's like, okay, whatever. But like, she's going into 4th grade. It's crazy.
Kids will never understand that either. I
No.
didn't. When
Yeah.
every adult said, "Oh, it's going to go so fast," you went, "Nah,
Yeah.
I'm going to live forever."
Right.
Even in my 20s,
Yeah.
I see people getting older. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, but why is that surprising to people? Like, why is the time flies surprising to people? It's like, wouldn't it be surprising if she wasn't growing? That kind of a thing. Like, wouldn't it be?
Well, that would
wouldn't
also
it
be surprising.
Wouldn't it be surprising if like she's not getting older and she's growing into this?
Yeah.
this
It's
teenager
just
or whatever.
when
It's just like-
it's not surprising. It's what it is everything that adults said to you as a kid finally clicks.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
I'll get there.
Yeah. It's so yeah, I mean, I cried when they were born. I wanted girls. Actually, I feel like I am a girl dad. I don't know if I could have sons. I mean, I guess I could. It'd be fine. But I feel like I really wanted girls. I feel
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm cut out for it.
You have 2 weddings to pay for.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. It's
see.
2023. We don't do that anymore.
Split the bill.
We don't.
For your own
Yeah,
wedding.
so it's 50-50. No.
But yeah, no, that definitely changes your priorities. And there's always somebody watching you, learning from you. And I just put up something on my LinkedIn about how like my workplace is now where my kids are. Like I bring my kids to work, every day because I work from home and they're home from the summer. So like they hear my meetings, they come into my meetings, I'm on camera, they come in, like they wave. And so I'm very conscious of like, what are my kids learning about work by observing me? And what are they learning about my priorities of like my wife, my family, the dog, like work, like what are they learning about my priorities? Because now my home and my workplace are geographically the same.
Yeah.
So
My question is,
unique.
how can you use your kids to sell? Marketing tools.
I mean, I learned how
Like
to
we
use
use the
learned how to
dogs.
use
The
the dog
dog.
yeah.
Yeah,
You need to use the children. No, I'm just kidding.
maybe. No, I feel like I did a video or something. But you know what I will say works really well about probably the dog and about my kids, whether it's like Instagram, LinkedIn. When we post, if I post super technical like SEO stuff, most people have no idea what I'm talking about and it
Right.
doesn't resonate. But I put up a picture yesterday of like me and my kids at the pool after work and just talked about what I just said about how like the time is so short. I want to make the most of it. Tons of likes, tons of
Yeah.
comments. It has nothing to do with marketing, but I was like, I'm being mindful of my relationship to work and what my kids are learning.
Right.
And so that personal side, basically anyone can resonate with. And you have like a cute dog that you ride around with in your truck. Anybody can resonate with that, right? And so I think that's just a great piece of marketing too, is like, how do I talk to people in general in a way that kind of resonates? And so,
Right.
yeah, that sets you apart.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's getting real.
Yeah.
I mean, you
real
go
about
back
Frankie.
when my uncle was doing marketing back in the day before social media, when there was only the yellow pages and cable commercials.
Yep.
There's a front you put forward and you put up the business and your plumbers and we're going to be this and get to, but now people actually sympathize with the human side of a company. Not that they didn't before, but there's so much more access to that person's life where they'll sympathize with that way more and they'll see, oh my gosh, look at this. They're doing this. Look at how he's playing with the dog, yada, yada, yada. But, no, that's a huge difference. And it's funny when my uncle talks about it. Like, we do have so many options as far as marketing and getting our name out there.
Yeah.
But literally, when he took over in 96, yellow pages and
Do you know why there's so many service-based businesses out there called A1
Yeah.
Plumbing,
Yeah.
A1 Roofing?
top
Yeah.
of the
It was the SEO of the day.
dude, there's a plumbing there's a pool I used to do pools for a living.
Yeah.
And Aqua Pools, AQUA,
Yep.
started and they were up there. And then another company came in and changed and Aqua Pools and they put ACQUA. And that's what they named their business.
Yep.
Like, you shiesty.
Anytime you see All American,
Yeah.
there's nothing. Like they just got here yesterday,
Yep.
but All American.
Yep.
No, it's true. And when I took over in 2015, 2016, and I was like, okay, well, we need a website. What are we doing for the website? Social media. He's like, I mean, I don't have a website, and you want to do a Yellow Pages ad? I'm like,
We're changing the name to
Yellow
All American
Pages.
Courts.
Yeah. No, but like today, it would be like Bergen County Plumbing,
yeah,
right? River Edge Plumbing. Like, because people are going to go to Google and they're going to look for River Edge Plumbing or
Yeah.
Bergen County Plumbing or, So that's kind of the new way to do it. People come up with these like fancy, elaborate names. And I'm like, for SEO purposes, one of the best things you could do is name yourself what people are searching.
wow, that's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Like change Quartz Plumbing to North Jersey Plumbing.
I could never do that.
No, you have too much equity.
I would have to, yeah. I'd have to stay in courts because the name's been around. I can't go anywhere without someone not knowing my uncle or my grandfather back in the day.
Yep.
It would have to stay with courts, but
You
what
could buy
I
the domain, buy northjerseyplumbing.com.
Yeah,
Just have it redirect.
my
to
friend
the
does
website.
that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, there's somebody who bought McDonald's.com before McDonald's was able to buy it. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
you can sell it for like $1
They
million.
did all the they bought Burger King, Trident Gum,
Yeah.
all those
Yeah.
domains. And we were old enough back then to be able to do that and not even think about it. It
Yeah.
sucks. I mean, we wouldn't be sitting down here doing this right now.
Yeah.
But as far as like, you know what I do to compensate? Because it's not like we're competing for the alphabetical list right now. But since we can't do All American Plumbing or whatever, North Jersey Plumbing, I make sure that our graphics are always cohesive. The logo, the brand is on point.
Yep.
Every time I post a reel for this podcast, the Plum Bums podcast is at the exact same spot with the
Yep.
exact same font
Yep.
and the exact same bubble, like every time, just plowing it out.
Consistency.
Yeah. And we have an ad running in ShopRite right now on the TVs by the cash registers that
Yep.
everything, the color scheme, everything spells Quartz. Her face is on it. Frankie's face is on the commercial.
Nice.
So it's just putting that in people's faces constantly.
Yep.
but it's very competitive around here. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of hacks that we have to deal with. Like you had asked a couple, well, you did ask the one about modern construction for sure, but there's a lot of hack service companies.
Yeah.
And they'll just wine and dine and just run,
Yeah.
you know?
And things are so expensive. Materials are so expensive now that a lot of people are like, listen, I don't want to go with the big guy. I want the one-off, whatever, handyman, jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Just because like they can't deal with the cost.
Right.
Sometimes some jobs are small, but some are, a few $1,000s. Like, geez.
But there's only so far I can go. I mean, we of course do have leeway when we're billing out, but it's not much. It used to be a lot more, but it's only a couple percent.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, come on!" Like I know you can. It's like, dude, honestly, I can't.
Yeah.
I really can't.
Yep.
There's nothing I can do about it. And yeah, you're gonna find, well, why is this guy cheaper? Well, he's probably paying his employees garbage.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to do that. I want good employees that are gonna care about your house when they go in. So I'm not gonna pay them garbage. And if I have to pay them well, you have to pay me well.
Yep.
You know, there's nothing, I can't get around it.
Yeah.
Or you're welcome to jump on YouTube and figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
And then call me back. I'm gonna charge you
Call
double.
me back soon.
Home Depot. Yep.
Home cheaps. Yeah. But it's a whole new ball game
Yeah.
from when our parents are. And I know our parents said the same thing, but it really is. There's no point in history that's
It's a much greater transformation.
Yeah.
And like the rate of change. Like I talked about, like when I started, Instagram did not exist, TikTok did not
Yeah.
exist.
right.
For you guys, like Google business profiles didn't exist. It
Yeah.
used to be Google My Business. Before that, there was nothing, right? And so the way people find vendors is different. And now, like for some demographics, mostly younger, but like TikTok is becoming the search engine of
Yeah.
choice for certain things. Like my wife and I, we went to Iceland last year, and I'm Googling like, cool stuff, unique stuff to do in Iceland. And it's all the same, those giant travel sites. And I'm like, no, this is old. They're paying for this. I want to hear from people who were in Iceland last month.
Yeah.
Like, what did you do? Right. So I go to TikTok and I go to, search Iceland, and they're like, oh, this restaurant just opened, or you can go see this, or this event is coming up. And I'm like, this is a much
That's
better search
huge.
result. Right. And so this is not for everything, but in some places, like, yeah, YouTube is preferred. TikTok is preferred. They discover businesses on Instagram, etc. So it's different.
We're also living in a time where people like the way you make money. People make money is very, very different. Like you have young people making a lot of money that you couldn't have done that years ago. Young people had to work. They had to be, I don't know, like the guy who takes out the garbage or the guy who, cleans up the shop or whatever it was. And now you have kids 16,
Overnight.
15, overnight becoming millionaires.
You know what I
That's
appreciate about, like, let's say TikTok, for instance, there are people on there who are hilarious, who put out great content, short form, whatever, who they never would have been stand-up comedians and never would have been in movies, but they're so funny and they have an outlet. I'm like, man, there's just skill sets that people are getting to like express. And,
There's pros
use.
and cons to this whole social media thing.
Yeah. Most of it's cons, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever the
agree.
percentage is, there are a lot of cons, but there are pros. People have built, and people who deserve to have a good career
yeah.
have built. There's been small companies like us, and even in the trades, that have made a name for themselves. Like one of the guys I follow, he has like 800,000 subscribers.
He's constantly criticizing,
And
his
he's
videos.
just a plumber.
He's like, I would.
Well, I do, yeah. I
The
don't
way
like
he
the-
put
I-
that in is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's insane. I don't even know how he's.
But he's doing it.
He's doing
Yeah.
it.
You know what? If you go and comment on that video, it's just like more fuel for him.
I do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do comment, and I know that I'm just giving it to him. But like, you know what? I'm okay with that.
He's a troll. I guess you would call
No,
it a troll.
I'm not. I used to be. Definitely not now, because everything is social media. Even my Facebook personal name is Quartz Plumbing.
Yeah.
I can't change it for another 40 days or something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
But it's everything social media is too ingrained with the business, so I can't.
Yeah.
I actually, and here's a secret, and most people don't know this, but I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off. If we're friends on Facebook, I don't follow you. I unfollow you. I don't want to know your opinion.
Yeah.
I don't want to be laying in bed before and get heated at something you said and then say something I regret. So I'm
I don't
just
care
like,
what
you know
had for
what?
breakfast.
Yeah.
Even if I love you and we agree on everything, I'm just going to unfollow because I don't want to get
Yeah.
involved.
It's not worth it.
It's not. Because everything's out there forever. People are losing their jobs for opinions nowadays.
Yeah.
and
They're
that's
losing
just-
friends. They're losing
Yeah.
jobs.
Listen, we talk about this too, the political divide, and I don't want to get too political.
Yeah.
But I remember growing up, we had Democrat friends, we were all and Republican friends, and everyone, like the people in my dad's church would, they would vote for this way or that way. There was no set. Now, it's like a black and white cookie.
It's so tribal.
It won't. It has separate. There is the chasm between the two ideologies is now so wide that there's almost no common ground.
Yeah, and it's not just political.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
I mean, there's political, but then there's all of the issues that kind of come with those camps.
Yeah.
And so like vax, anti-vax, mask,
Yeah.
anti-mask, political, social, like there's all of the issues that each side kind of lines up with that cover pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Social issues are just downstream of politics.
Right.
That's it. That's all it
I had
is.
a interesting conversation with some coworkers a few years back where like Colin Kaepernick the ESPN was on, and they were talking about kneeling for the anthem, and there was a little debate of, well, that's his constitutional right, and well, no, you can't do that. It's the American flag. It's a dishonor. And I told him, I was like, I think what we need to do is people need to take Jesus more seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, love your neighbor as yourself. If we loved people more than we loved our point of view, you would see things start to change. But people they fall in love with their point of view, and if somebody has an opposing point of view, it's like that person is absolute garbage.
Dude, I'm
Dirty
guilty
laundry
of it.
sells.
Yeah, everybody's guilty. I mean, I'm guilty of it.
That's why I unfollow people.
Yeah.
Dirty laundry sells. It's
Yeah.
everybody wants controversy. Controversy sells, and you can't. You'll never get around it. That's the human.
Yeah.
That's
You wanna
how
watch
we're
a train
built.
wreck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want to see a train wreck. You want to see the plane crash. You want
Mhm.
to see, the politician talk to the other politician.
It's crazy. Like a lot of people don't even know their own neighbor next to them, but they are entrenched in other people spread all over their region.
Yeah.
It's such a weird dynamic.
I am particularly passionate about like neighborhood community, like knowing my neighbors. Like I make a point to like text Naomi a neighbor's name. Somebody new moves on the block. I'll like text their name because I don't want to forget it, because the next time I see them taking out the trash, I want to say, "Yo, Bill, what's up?" Hey, that's really big to me. Like social media, I think one of the cons is that we have access to like the whole universe.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody said once, like, I shouldn't, as I'm lying in bed, see like a St. Jude commercial and somebody making an avocado toast and then the war in Ukraine. And then it's like my brain is not meant to take all of that
you're
in
right.
15
It's
seconds.
not healthy.
Right. And so it's like, I'm trying to focus on
The local.
my
Yeah.
neighbors. I got an elderly neighbor.
I
lives
just
two
want the
doors down,
avocado
like-
toast. I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want.
Dude,
what's going on
honestly,
in
that's
Ukraine.
when it comes down to like everyone when the presidential election comes around, everyone's like rah rah rah, like just going nuts when
Yeah.
there have been a dozen local elections that you haven't paid attention
Nobody
to,
cares.
and that's where your opinion really matters anyway.
Yeah.
But the knowing your neighbor thing, it's funny you say that. We interviewed 2 weeks ago. We took a week off, but we interviewed a 90-year-old couple who's farming. They own an active farm, 88 acres.
Mhm.
And it's out in the middle of Ohio, rural Ohio, and it's all very neighborly out there. There's still a sense of community out there.
Yeah.
I sent this lady the podcast 2 weeks ago. She hasn't even checked her notifications, which is like a blessing almost. But she doesn't care. They don't care about Facebook. If someone's family gets injured in the hospital, they're bringing food to the neighbors. They all know their neighbors. You know what I mean? And that's just lost out here. And it's strange because we're so piled on top of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. There's a lot of reasons why you can't have that around here.
Well, I know. But I'm trying to take it down to the bare bones. Like when you look at it from an outside perspective, you're like, it kind of should be like that. Like I should know everyone around here.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
it's I try to make a point to talk with neighbors and, coworkers, whatever. People are dealing with some really heavy issues when you really get down to it with people. And, most folks feel like, oh, I can't talk about this. I can't share that. I wouldn't dare let somebody know. But it's like when you get those opportunities and really hear what's like heavy on people's hearts, like, man, people need community so badly.
Yeah.
People feel so isolated and, they just put on a front and they keep it, surface level. But the more I talk to people, I'm like, yeah, we've got to really sit down and connect on some hard issues.
Well, that's. I think that's the problem. There's no sense of community anymore, and you have to ask yourself why. There's too many. Everyone likes to talk about the melting pot,
Mhm.
of this area, of our area of New York, and in New Jersey, but it's not really, because you have
It's more like a
everybody,
chopped salad.
everybody's got their own, everybody's got their own separate groups.
Yeah.
You know, you're not it's not a melting pot like what it used to be. It's people.
The church and the church was at the center of almost every community, and people went when they needed help and they needed charity and stuff like that. Now it's the government.
Yeah.
But the church was entrenched in people's lives. Now it's just like a factory conveyor belt with the government, like, just doling out this, doling out that. And I think, and we kind of split from that, I guess, in the late 50s. And it's just been getting worse every year since then.
Yeah.
But you go out to rural Ohio,
Very different.
it's still the same.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah. Maybe I need to move out there.
Or
Or maybe I need to stay here and be like a change agent.
Yeah, you could. I mean, but Ohio's beautiful. Northeast Ohio.
Yeah.
Is everyone trashes Ohio. They say, "Oh, Ohio's just like garbage." How beautiful is Northeast Ohio? It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Western Ohio, unbearable. It's flat.
Yeah.
It's just this floor.
Well, they say it's round on the outside and high in the middle.
It's high.
Like,
on.
high.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Dad joke.
But it's the rolling hills. It's absolutely beautiful. So when
Yeah.
people trash Ohio, I'm like, what are you talking
It's
about?
like Western PA. When we
Yeah.
drove through Western PA, and I was just like, wow, this
Happy
looks like
Valley
this looks like
area.
Europe.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Like if you drive through the countryside of Europe, this is kind of like what you see.
Yeah. We drove out to Minnesota once, and so we had to go through PA, Ohio. Just they're so big.
I know.
First of all, I was driving through. I was like, I did not realize how big America is.
Yeah.
Much less Ohio
Yep.
and Pennsylvania.
It's massive.
It's huge.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievably massive. But all right, you know what I'm going to do? We've had a phenomenal conversation. I've enjoyed every second of it. Super interesting. The marketing stuff, I'm going to go back and listen to this and write down some points that I didn't even think about. But you gave us a lot of good stuff, Dan. I appreciate you being here. Did you enjoy yourself?
I did. I think this is the first podcast I've ever been on.
Well, what we're going to try to do in the next couple months is do videos. So when we get that up and running, we'll have you on again.
Part 2.
And we'll talk about some more stuff.
do it.
Thanks again for listening, folks. Plum Bums. Be sure to tune in next week. We have a couple interesting guests coming up, and we'll post those later. But thanks for listening, and have a good one.